You're live, it says. Well, okay. Welcome to the live event here at the RC Industry Garage. Yeah, I got my No Name National shirt on today. So we're actually going to work on the old brown bag back here, which is what I'm going to take, or the plan is to take next year to the No Name Nationals. And I'm actually making a video while we're out here. So you're going to see me do that too. And, we'll answer all the questions from all the millions of fans that are going to, tune into this live event. So anyway, don't forget there's super chats out there, and you can join the channel and get all kinds of early access to the videos and stuff like that. So anyway, all of that said, yeah. So if you the first time here, this is your first time here, I'm Rick from RCindustry channel, and I've been doing this about 16 years. We don't do live events too often, but I'm getting to the point where I'm pretty much retired now. So I think we're going to start doing these a little more often, and get in here and ask some questions. The picture that showed the live, whatever that's called, the screenshot, that was actually of my 75 Dodge. That's the truck I had the year before the first No Name Nationals. That was the project on the channel before the first one. And so that was about 3 or 4 years ago. And then we had the 77 or the 78 Dodge four-wheel drive war wagon, I called it. It was a power wagon. And then we went to the 79 Chrysler, and so on and so forth. And you guys, if you haven't looked at all the stuff on the channel, you can certainly go back. There's over 1,000 videos on here, car related videos. Some of them are vehicles that you probably wouldn't like, but hey, I kind of like all. Excuse me, boy, woo! I kind of like all them old vehicles. So anyway, looks like somebody's in here. So we got one person watching. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get some spray over here. What we're doing is making a video, taking the spare tire carrier down off of this old Dodge pickup over here. So you may see me doing some of that, and I'll try to keep up with you and answer any questions that you come up with. So, be sure and put them in the chat, and be respectful. This is the way I do things. I wouldn't recommend you do things the way I do, but looks like Junkyard D is in here. Hello. He says, hello, Rick. So hello. Yeah. So anyway, I know this is kind of random. Tuesday morning, most people are working. I get that. But, everybody, I don't want to step on somebody else's lives during the evening hours, and there's so many of them. So I think I'm going to start doing one either on a Thursday morning or a Wednesday morning, or some mornings every week. You'll probably see me. So anyway, I'm going to get me some spray lube, or as my grandpa would call it, monkey piss, and I'm going to go over there and spray on that rusted up bolt. And let's see here. We should have some good stuff here. I don't know. Some of you don't like this, but this is what we're going to use today. All right, you can see I've got my penetrating oil here, so I'm going to spray this up in here, kind of like so. Soak this all down. So I already got some sprayed over there, and then we're going to try to get this down out of here. Now, here's what I was talking about. See how that's been up in there for so many years? That bracket is just rusted clear out of there. So we're going to try to get that down out of there in one piece, but bear with me on the live. We're recording over here, so Kind of shows you how I do my videos. You can do yours how you want. So with that said, we're going to get it and let that soak. And then we'll see if we can get that thing down out of there. Show you more. That'll probably break free. I don't know. It might not. Tell me about the Dodge project. Okay, well, there's a whole series of it on the website, or on the, it ain't called that. What is it called? The YouTube channel. But it's a 74 Dodge, and it's actually what I wanted to take to the No Name Nationals this past year. The 77 Chevy was never intended for that, but that wound up taking my whole summer to get it running. And so I kind of put this one on the back burner. But yeah, so it's a 74 Dodge. It's got a 225 slant six with a, I think it's just a 1-barrel carburetor on it. It's the little carburetor anyway. And I don't know, it might be a 2. I don't know. I don't remember. It had a broken exhaust manifold when I got it. And Dave and Amy over there at Fleetwood Fabrications, you can go check out their channel. They gave me a intake or a exhaust manifold for it. So we, early on in the videos, about a year ago actually, we put that exhaust manifold on there and got it running. The truck has been setting since, I think it was last plated in 1992. Well, it's plated now, but I mean, when I bought it, it was 1992. So yeah, so it's got 90-some thousand miles on it. It had been parked and sitting in a barn for many years. The gentleman that I bought it from bought it at the estate auction. He drug it home and got it running. It's running off of a gas can up under the hood because the gas tank was rot. It was, you know, them plastic tanks, it was just busted in pieces. That's in some of the videos too, if you go back and look at them. But so my plan is to get this thing running. I want to keep the slant six in it because there's 2 or 3 other people that come to the No Name Nationals that have slant sixes, and I'm going to leave this one stock this year. I'm not going to modify it any. Just going to take it down there stock as far as the engine and transmission. And by the way, it has a 3-speed. Used to be on the column, and someone has moved it over. It's got a Hurst shifter in the floor, so it's a 3-speed on the floor. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it stock. I want to see what it will do on the track in the 8th mile. So that's kind of my thing. I know a lot of you at the No Name Nationals are really racers and all that. I just want to see what the truck will do stock. So that's why, other than the wheels are not stock, but it had those wheels and tires on it when I bought it. Well, it had those wheels. It did not have those tires. You can go back and look at that video on the tires. The tires were so bad on it, I was afraid to drive it home. So I had it hired a rollback to have it brought home. So, you know, another piece of junk that's sitting around here that the neighbors just absolutely love. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to be doing some custom modifications like to this back end here. I'm going to put a roll pan on it. That hitch I probably am going to take off. And there's some brackets across here that used to have like one of those big wide mud flaps hanging on it, kind of like you used to buy back in the day on J.C. Whitney. So yeah, I'm going to take all that off, and I've got a gas tank that Alex from something Garage gave me, and it's a fuel cell basically, but I think it will fit up under there where that spare tire was at, and if it will, we'll have to build some brackets for that. I talked to Deke down at No Name Nationals as far as passing tech. He told me what he wanted to see on an aftermarket tank. So I'm going to do all that, or, you know, like a fuel cell kind of thing. So, oh, looks like we got another slant six. Yeah, the Leaning Tower of Power. I actually, believe it or not, this thing runs pretty good. This is I think 74 is the first year for the electronic ignition. So it's got the little brain box, and all of the juice has run out of the back of that. And it still starts and runs, which is amazing to me. So I have sourced an old, an old original brain box and a voltage regulator, because those are terribly bad, the reproduction ones are. So I also have a brand new reproduction of both, but I'm going to try to use the original parts on it because I think they're probably better. So we got it, and I'm going to move. You can see the license plate bracket is right there. It's the original one that would have come on the truck, because back in the day when you bought a pickup, it did not have a bumper on it. You had to buy the bumper separate, usually at your dealer. And so the license plate carrier bracket is up under there with the light. So I'm going to move that to the center. And I've actually got a plan to build a cowling down around that big metal bar that's across there holding that hitch. Now, I'm going to take the hitch part off because I have somebody gave me a Reese hitch that should bolt to this frame, because I want to be able to have a hitch on it in case I want to pull my trailer or something. But, I've got a little 10-foot trailer, a little 10-foot tilt trailer that I can pull my lawnmower around on if I need to. So I want to probably do that. So that's some of the ideas. The cab is in really bad shape. Floor-wise, floor pans are really bad. And the person that owned the truck must have been a shorter person, because the seat has been moved and re-drilled and moved forward. So currently I have the seat pushed back as far as it will go, and I can barely get in the truck. And the other thing is it's got 2-inch blocks on the seat rails, so the whole seat is raised up 2 inches. So that all has to be put back so that I can drive it, because I'm 6'1" and 260 pounds. So there's a lot of me right here for that steering wheel. So so we got a little work to do with that. But basically, once I make some new floor pans for it, I bought some patch panels for the doors and the cab corners. The rockers are good in it. So it's going to be a winter project. And today is kind of cool out, but I thought, we need to get some work done, and I need to make a video. And so it looks like there's 3 of you watching now. So anyway, I'm going to go over here and turn the camera back on and do some recording and see if I can get that spare tire down off of there. So, watch for the next episode of the of the 74 Dodge. I call it the brown bag. So if you do a hashtag brown bag on your search browser, either on either in Facebook, or you can do it in Rumble, and you can also do it here on YouTube, and it'll bring up all those videos for this truck. So without further ado, and there's no more stuff on here. Yep, Junkyard D so far is the only one that has commented. So let me get my pry bar and see if, are you planning on changing suspension, lowering it? Well, not for this coming season, but I think it would look nice if it was lowered. And, it would probably be nice if it had a split intake or a split exhaust manifold, and maybe an intake, different setup for the slant 6. There's all kinds of cool things I can do to it. But this year, it's just to get it rolling and running so I can drive to the No Name Nationals, run it down the track, and drive home, because that's my thing. That's what I like to do. So no, I won't be changing the suspension, other than possibly fixing whatever's wrong. Now, the guy that I bought the truck from, he did put in new brake lines, new rubber lines, and some new brake components and things like that before I bought it from him, because he was actually trying to drive it around. He was going to restore it, but then he decided he wanted to build a pole barn better. So he sold this to me to raise money. So I probably overpaid for it, but Dodge pickups, this year, they're getting hard to find ones that you can afford. I mean, you can find, $20,000 ones, but I don't want a trailer queen. I want something I can use. And so this one still runs, and, things are expensive on these trucks. You guys probably know that. Dean Stevens, a random live. Yeah, it is a random live. You never know when I'm going to come on here. So those, the first gen trucks, Yeah, I believe is it Road Beer Garage, somebody like that. He's got an older Dodge pickup. I like those too. So anyway, let me see if I can get that spare tire cover down off of there. Carrier, excuse me. Let's see. I'll use my big tent nail here and see if I can get that down off there. That may be too big. Come here. Hard to see out this sunlight. Okay. All right, everybody, let's see if we can get this thing to come off of there. It's actually turning. I don't believe that. Let's see if we can get this down over there. That penetrating tool works pretty good, I guess. Come on now. Let's play friendly. Man, that thing's long. Oh. Let's see. Get you down here. A little closer. As I say, let's play friendly. Just about got her here, I think. I don't know how far this thing. I don't know if the nut's up in here or if it's down here, but we're getting there. It'll fall here in a minute, I hope. Then we're going to take a look at this old bias ply tire, see if we can figure out what year it is. Just from the looks of the tread, it definitely looks like it's from the 70s. Any bets that this is going to fall on my arm when I'm turning it? Oh boy. There we go. There is the tire, baby. Bear with me on the live here. I'm going to got to set this up to film me pulling up out of here. Just kind of setting up the frame. Let's see if we got anybody else in here. Dean Stevenson, hello. Well, hello, sir. And at the bottom of the morning to you, people are talking amongst themselves. That's good. You got it down here. What is your dream ride with wheels? Well, I got to tell you, it's a 67 Ford Galaxy 500. Would like for it to be an XLT, so it had the bucket seats. And I wouldn't even care if it was a convertible. But they are so pricey, that will never happen. So, hey, we got a thumbs up. Thank you for someone doing that. And there's Curtis from Canary's Hot Rod Garage. You be careful under there. Yeah, I know. That thing came right off there. I was surprised because that was so rusty, but it came right out of there. I've always been a Ford man, so D. Thomas will be fine if you give our gifts, JYD. But I'm okay walking and working too. So, yeah. Well, this video is, I just thought, I make a video once a week, or try to. But I film sometimes more than one a week. I know this weekend I'm going to a car show. I'm not decided yet where I'm going. I don't know if I'm going to Hallsville, Kentucky, or if I'm going to Dale, Indiana. Both of them have car shows. Dale is closer. If my son wants to go, we may go to the Dale one. If he's not going to go, I may go to the one down in Hallsville, Kentucky. It's still not that far. It's 35 miles. That's not bad. So I'm not sure, but so I'll be filming a car show. People seem to like a lot of that. I don't film when I go to a car show. I look for stuff that looks like this Dodge. I look for the old stuff that people are working on. And when I first met the young man from It'll Run channel, I don't know if you guys watch that channel, but you probably should. They are he is from that area, somewhere in the Dale area, I think. But I first met him at a car show in Gentryville, which is close to that area too. And he had his car there, and I was like, man, I've seen you on YouTube. So, that's kind of funny. Let's see. Curtis says, I will be at Vastwood Saturday in Hallsville. Well, like I said, I'm planning on going to that one. I may go to both. Who knows? It'll just give me some more content, but I've never been to the one in Hallsville, so I don't know if they'll like my old rusty Chevy pickup or not. But, I get a lot of people that turn their nose up at it, but a lot of people want to come over and talk to you and talk about it. So that's cool too. I prefer things that I don't have to worry about getting scratched on, or getting them scratched. But that's my preference. There's some beautiful vehicles out there. And I know if Curtis from Canary's Hot Rod Garage, for example, has a beautiful, I'll probably get the year wrong, but I think it's like a 72 Chevy pickup, but it's absolutely beautiful. So they'll love it, RC. Yeah. Well, I hope they do. Yeah. Oh, so Curtis says I'll blend right in. Well, that's good then. So I'll tell you what, I just may plan on that. I know my wife is going out of town with her cousins. They're going up to Little Nashville. So, I'll just go Saturday, and then I might just go Sunday too. You just never know. All right, let me set this up over here and pull that spare tire out for the camera, because we are making a video here. So, all right, and don't forget about Shop RC Industry too. All you got to do is go to shoprcindustry.com. Put that HTTP www. I don't know, whatever. Most browsers you don't have to do that, but you can just type it in, shoprcindustry.com, and buy yourself a hoodie. I need to buy myself one. Look at this thing. This ain't even an RC Industry hoodie. So I'm going to have to buy me one too. So anyway, do your shopping on there. You know, it's Christmas is coming up. We've got hats and T-shirts, you know, trucker hats. Hide all that hair up under here, you know, kind of like the old song, you know, put all my hair up under my hat. Okay. Anyway, enough of that crazy nonsense. Let me do this section of the filming right here. So. Okay, well, that's down off there. So let's see if we can get this one. I believe that thing has been there a while. What do you think? She's looking pretty rough. Let's see if we can figure out the date code on this. We know the thing was last tagged in 1992. We can tell that from the Johnson County license plate there. So. Well, I don't think that thing's going to hold air. What do you guys think? I don't know if you all can see this very good or not on the camera or on the live. The old thing has still got, she's still got good tread, but she's weather cracked just a little, you know. The rim, I thought the rim was rusted out, but I don't think it is. Here's where I was worried about it. I don't know if you can't see that. You're right there where that carrier had it up in there, but it looked like, I know the carrier piece, the little bracket, that's rusted off. But yeah, well, the rim may still be good. It's the original rim. I don't have, this is the only one I got, but anyway, what kind of tire is this anyway? This is a Deluxe Champion, so it's got to be a Firestone. Yep, it's a Firestone. So I would say this is 19. I had a set of these on my 71 Pinto. So I'd say this is probably around 1975. No, let's see, 78. But I'll bet it's just the original tire. Oh, would these have come with Firestones on them? Let's see. I don't even know if they even dated tires back then. Let's see here. 30 PSI. Yeah, it's got a code on here. Let's see. Well, it's got a DD 4496. P25A. So, without looking it up, I don't know. I don't know. You guys tell me. Anyway, this is what it is. Let's see what you guys have said on here since I've been gone. So Dean Stevenson retracted his message. My daily is a second gen. Oh, this is Junkyard D. My daily is a second generation quad cab, and I just realized there was a crew cab conversion, rare, but I want one. Cool. Yeah. Well, I really like all these old Dodge pickups. I see some pickups when I go to car shows around here of that era, both in Chevrolet and Dodge, and they've been modified, you know, where they take two cabs and put them together and they do all that stuff. But to have one that's truly rare. Now, the military, when I was in the military, we had crew cabs. They were D200s, but they were crew cabs built by Dodge for our need, for the Air Force's need or whatever. And we had tons of those things. They had 440s in them. I'm thinking I thought they had 727 transmissions, but, you know, I could be wrong. We had a ton of those. So let's see. I think everything is the 318 born Mopar. Okay. Well, I think these were, well, I know these had 440s in them, but they were probably a military spec vehicle, but it was a crew cab Dodge with a long bed. They were big long trucks. you know, 3/4 ton kind of thing. They were like D200s or something like that. So that was, but that was many years ago. So I'm sure they are, all those vehicles are long since gone. But I guess what I was getting at with that comment is that, you know, you go to a junkyard or somewhere, to one of these DMRO sales where the military sells off vehicles, you're liable to find anything. I found a few years back, I found an 83 Ford Ranger that was an Air Force vehicle. It had 60,000 miles on it. It had been one of the little trucks that they drove around the flight line. And it was a great little truck. It had nothing, you know, it was completely stripped down. It had nothing on it, no radio, nothing like that, but no air conditioning, you know. But it was a cool little pickup. So, all right, I'm going to get over here and work on this video some more. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this very good or not, but this is a Firestone Super Belt Deluxe Champion. I had a set of these on my 71 Pinto. Well, they weren't this size. Mine were 13s, but same kind of tire. Because I remember taking my yellow tire pin and painting all the lettering on it, on the tires. I don't know if I have a picture of that or not. But you can see here where the bracket was holding that up. You know, I was afraid it had rusted the rim out, but it doesn't look like it did. But I'd be afraid to put air in it because it's pretty ragged. And as far as date code, you guys comment down below. It's got the DO number here is, well, let me see if I can read it. It's a VBVV DD4496. So I'd have to look that up. I don't know what it is. And then there's also another number over here that says P25A. So I know the date codes back then were a lot different than they are now, but just look at the weather cracking. I mean, but the tread, you know, it's still got a lot of tread on it for a bias ply tire. So anyway, show you more. Of course, like I said earlier, the idea here is to see if I can get that fuel cell that Alex gave me up under that truck. Let me blow my nose here. Kind of cool out. I don't know if it's cool where everybody else is, but oh, LP's in the house. All right. Yeah. Hello. Lars, good to see you. Saw you. Actually watched a video of yours today where you're tearing down a 351 Windsor or something. Hopefully you're going to put that in your old Ford pickup that sits there. Let's see. Sounds 1984 to me. Oh, okay. So you think it's 1984. Well, that could be, because, you know, you would think that tires would have gotten put on it at some point. Now, it came with those big wide rims and big tires on it when I bought it, but that doesn't mean anything. So, and they're date coded. I looked their date code up, and they're date coded in the 90s. Those old dry rotted tires that came on the truck on those big rims. I saved the best one because there came with 5 of those big rims, and I saved the best one for a spare. So, but I wouldn't want to drive it very far because it's pretty tore up. Junkyard D's feeling left out. Well, don't feel left out. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. I'm going to go over here and get back under here. I want to see how much of this I got to tear out before I put that fuel cell to try to measure for it. right, guys and gals, you're seeing it first here. So this is the area where I'm thinking about putting that tank. And isn't this perfect patina here? I mean, it's almost the support rails on the bottom of this bed are almost completely gone. So typical Dodge pickup, at least from my area, when you buy these year pickups, you can look back in there and see that one the same way. She's pretty gone. But I think we can fix that. This is what I was talking about. Those little lips, those are going off of there. But I want to take this down off of here too, and get this completely out of the way. And then we're going to measure up in here and kind of see if we've got room for that tank. All right, show you more. Oh. Okay. Let's see. I can hook up with you with a tire date. Oh, that's cool. In my case, I'm sending it from the 5th. Okay. A North septic one. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So what I want to do now, I don't know if you guys haven't watched the previous videos, you may not know about this tank. Let me just show you what I got here. This is what I'm thinking about putting down in there. I don't know if you can see it very good, but it's got a filler neck and a vent tube, and it's got a gauge and a supply and return. So, and it's pretty thin, and I know it'll fit up under there, but I don't know positioning it wise. It may be too wide to put it this way. So that's kind of why I want to get this tore out of there and see where we're at today. Because, we got to find out. If not, I've got a fuel cell that'll fit up in the back of that toolbox, and Deke told me how to do that as well. So anyway, let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Well, I was looking for my phone, and I couldn't find my phone. I was going to look up that date code. I don't know what I did with my phone. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what, Curtis? I think I just, I haven't seen you all summer, so in your truck, and well, I guess I did see you one of the days on Power Tour this spring, so or May or June or whenever that was. I guess it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, well, I'll just plan on coming down there. That ain't that far, Hallsville. It's a pretty good drive through the country too, which is what I like to do. I don't like to drive on the big roads if I don't have to. So yeah, well, let's just plan on. I'll see you at some point down there tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, but Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, because you're going. That's right. You're going down to that fest down in where they have that car show thing. That's about a 3-day event, I think, down in Evansville. So yeah, you'll be going to that. I think that started, what is that, today, tomorrow, and Saturday, something like that. Yeah. Okay, down at the fairgrounds. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Spray that a little better. Tools. You got to get that. That bolt is actually good. I don't want to tear that bolt up, believe it or not. Somebody might want that original spare tire carrier. I learned a long time ago not to throw any of these old truck parts away. I mean, do you know how hard it is for me to find a set of door panels for my 77 Chevy? I mean, hey, there's Russell. It's going pretty good. I just, we got back from a long vacation. We've been on vacation for a couple of weeks. Went out to Arizona and Grand Canyon and Las Vegas and Devil's Canyon in Idaho or whatever that. No, that's not right. Wherever the salt flats are at, whatever, Utah. And went and came home. Well, see, yeah, we went through Colorado, and I'd never been to Colorado before. Well, I'd never been to Utah either. And quite honestly, the only thing in Arizona I'd ever been to was drove like I-40 through it before, but that was it. So yeah, so we were gone for a while. We did get to stop by and see Mr. Ross down there at Tony's Hot Rod Garage. So we stopped in and saw him on our trip. Oh, you're going to be taking the rat rod to Evansville. Oh, see, yes. So Curtis says he's taking his. Yeah, we'll be in Evansville tomorrow, Friday. Yeah, with the rat rod. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can believe that. So yeah, let's see. Thanks for your offering, Anthony. Yeah, Mr. Outfits Garage. Oh, Russell. Yep, I like his channel too. I've told this story to him, and I don't know if anybody else knows that, but as soon as I saw his channel the first year at the No Name Nationals when he was trying to do his 500 to get, to be able to go to the No Name Nationals, and his channel name was Outfits Garage. I mean, the first thing it made me think of was my grandmother, because she always used that phrase outfit, like one of our old junk cars, or because I was always messing with stuff at my grandpa's house, and she always called it an outfit. What kind of outfit you got? Or if it wasn't calling it that, she was calling it a buggy. So what parts of Colorado did you see? Well, whatever's on Interstate 70, because at that point we were trying to get home. So I know we went to Vail, Colorado, some big ski place, and we went through Denver. And I've been to Denver before. At least I'd been at the airport. I'd never driven through Denver. And then when we left Denver, we stayed on the west side of Denver at some town like Florence, or I don't remember what it was. It was right there on the interstate. It was a nice little community. Had a pizza that night. And that part is where it kind of leveled out and was sort of flat. But we were way up in the air still. I mean, height wise, or sea level wise, I know that. But we seemed like we drove forever on flat, plain area, and then we started getting into Kansas, and the level, or the, what do you want to call, the sea level, started going down a little. So let's see. Yes, we went through the Eisenhower Tunnel. Yes, we did. I remember that. It's funny. I drove most of the way. I think we drove a little over 3,000 miles on the trip because we went up into the Grand Canyon and all that too. So, um, but that day I was tired. So Kelly doesn't like hills and mountains and stuff. And it was looking pretty flat when we first left Utah, getting into Colorado, that area. And I said, well, if you could just drive for an hour or so, and I'm going to sleep. So that's what I did. We swapped out, and I got in the passenger side, and I went to sleep. Well, the next thing I know, when I woke up, we're going down big mountain grades, and she was glued to the wheel, man. She doesn't like driving through that, but she did a good job. So, Outfits Garage says he's been through that tunnel. Yeah, there was actually, we went through several tunnels on that trip through 70. I guess I would have had to figure that there would be tunnels, but I didn't think about it. There's not too many tunnels around here. Down in Louisville, whenever I drive over to Cincinnati, kind of up in there where old Chris from lives. What is his channel? I can't think of his channel. Busted Radio Garage. So for me to get to like over in his area, you have to. Well, I don't know that you have to, but there's a good chance you're going to drive through a tunnel there. So that's about the only tunnel around here. So you lived there in northern Colorado, but you haven't been there for 10 years. Okay. All right. Yeah, I thought actually, I got to say Arizona, Nevada, not so much that we went through this, the right there at the end before we got into Utah. When we started getting into the Sierra Nevada mountains, it was starting to look a little better. But Nevada, at least the parts we went through, just looks like desert, pretty much. It's not too bad, I guess, right around where the Hoover Dam and all that is. Is it Hoover Dam? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got nothing against Nevada, but it's not as pretty, I didn't think, as most of the Arizona area we went to was. I think we went to Sedona, Arizona, which is way down in the mountain, off the high plain area. And then it's funny when you get up to like Flagstaff, it almost looks like here in southern Indiana. But then you go 20 miles either way of that, and it's like, you're back into the red rocks and stuff again. So, but yes, Utah was very pretty. I actually I stopped at a place called Devil's Canyon, I think, in Utah. It was a rest area, or there was a pull off there for a scenic overlook. Man, it didn't have no guardrails. I took a picture or two, but man, I think I might have posted one on my community page. But there was people going down in there and looking way down in that canyon. It looked like it was 2 miles deep, and that rocks and all that stuff you was walking on, the gravelly sand stuff was so slippery. I was like, I ain't going down in there. So I just kind of held the camera up high and took a picture. So, but yes, it's very beautiful. Colorado, I was surprised that their trees are a lot further along than ours are as far as the leaves coming off the trees, because there was a lot of trees. I guess I thought everything would be pine trees there, because I don't know nothing about that kind of stuff. But they have a lot of trees with leaves on them. But I noticed they were pretty much all turned and fallen off by the time we went through there last week. So, yeah. So let me see if I can get I want to get my air compressor line out there so I can take that bolt out of there and some stuff like that. Let's see. What's the weather like down there, Russell, in your neck of the woods of Arkansas right now? Because it's really been cold here. We actually got frost last night, and I didn't cover up the tomatoes or anything. So I went out there this morning early and took the garden hose and washed all the frost off of the stuff in the garden, and it looks like it didn't hurt it. So, but it was cold enough that it was frosty this morning. Even the gate going out to the garden, it's a one of them plastic fences, and it had a layer of ice on it. So, but yeah, I don't know. It generally doesn't get that cool here, but with all this weather, the cold weather blowing in from Canada, We get a lot of that sometimes, and but it's supposed to be back and warm and hot next week. So nice and clear. Temp was close to freezing this morning. Okay, so it was cool down there too then. All right. Well, it was quite a shock for us because it was cool going through the mountains in Colorado and all that. And even when we were in Kansas, it was a little cooler. But the rest of the trip, I mean, Arizona is hot, and Texas was hot, and Oklahoma was hot and windy like it always is. And coming home, then by the time we got halfway through Kansas, we were back down in elevation, and it was hot. I think when we rolled into Kansas City Saturday evening, it was 92 degrees, so it was nice and hot there too. So. All right, let me see what we got here. I'm going to turn my compressor on, so it's going to be kind of noisy. Yeah, that compressor's probably noisy. That little 25 gallon compressor has painted a lot of cars. And I hate to even say it, but I've had that compressor since Eric, my son, was probably 12, 13 years old. So, other than a pressure relief valve once in a while and some stuff like that, it's been a good one. Probably quit today, but if it does, well, I've got my money out of it, that's for sure. Okay, the black Dodge that's my 77 or my 75 D100. There's a whole series on that truck on the channel. You can go back and you can just type in 75 Dodge D100 on my channel, and it'll bring it up. There's dozens of videos. That one I had been and all this is on the videos, but I'll just kind of tell you about it. That one was, yeah, the compressor's on, I know. So that black Dodge, I don't know if you can even hear any of this. Oh, there it kicked off. So, yeah, that dadgum compressor thing does that every time, doesn't it? So that black Dodge had been a U.S. Navy vehicle, and I bought it. It had been sold up here at Crane Naval Base. Back, in the probably early 80s. And the guy, there was a guy up there in that area that actually bought it. And he had it for years and years and years. And then he didn't drive it anymore. And then his grandson was going to cut it all up and make some kind of a drag truck out of it, which is cool. You can do what you want. It's your truck. But it wasn't all rusted out. Well, then the young man needed some money. So he had it listed. I went up and looked at it. And it had a slant 6 in it, and what I thought was a 727. I don't remember now. Maybe it was the 904, or whatever it's called. But I bought that truck and attempted to drive it home. Got about 10 miles from his house, and I could see that this was not going to. The transmission was slipping so bad that it was not going to drive 40 miles or 45. It was like 45 miles I had to go yet. So I had it record home. But yeah, we did a whole series on that. I didn't lower it. I was going to that. If I kept that truck, I was going to lower that one as well, which, like I talked earlier in this episode, I might do that to this one back here, but not this year. It's all going to be stock at the No Name Nationals this year, other than the tires and wheels, because I don't have the originals. But yeah, I don't think they had a 727 for the slant. Yeah, actually, Tony was telling me the same thing. So whatever it was, I can tell you what was wrong with the transmission. So I got it pretty cheap. the vehicle because the guy knew the transmission didn't work in it right. So when I got it home, the first thing I had to do was fix the engine so it would run right because the valves were out of adjustment. I got the valves adjusted, got the oil changed, got it tuned up, and let's sit there and idle, run real good. But it hardly had any reverse, and it just didn't have any. It would never go into high gear. So, and it probably was actually second and third it was using, because when I took the pan off the transmission, there was the little I call it a nylon wash, or a nylon nut, but it was one of them nuts where you're supposed to torque that down to so many inch-pounds on the bands and all that. That thing was laying in the bottom of the pan, so that's why it wasn't working. So there wasn't a lot of debris in the pan, and it didn't look like it had been off recently. So I just took the gamble and put that all back together and adjusted the bands on it, put a new filter in it, put the pan back on it, and that thing run really good. So I lucked out on that one. So yeah, it may not have been a 727. I just remember the band adjustment being similar to the way we did those, because I used to do a lot of those band adjustments on the warehouse tugs we had in the military, and they were, again, a military vehicle built, so it may have been special, but they actually had a slant six, and they did have a 727, and that had a drive shaft about that long. So it was pretty cool. But so that's why I thought that's what it was. Anyway, I adjusted the bands on it like I would have that. And there's a whole video on that, actually. If you go to that 1975 Dodge D100 series on my YouTube channel, you will see that, because I did that. But that truck had originally been white because it was a Navy truck, and somebody had painted it black. As you can see in the picture, it looks kind of black, but it's got some white showing through. So I did that truck same I'm going to do to this one. This one's been white as well. And I'll tell you how I found out it had been a Navy truck is when I started sanding the black paint off to get the white to show through, is when I saw the reg number and U.S. Navy on the side of it. So I didn't even know it had been at that point. This one is definitely not, because this one still had the sticker up under the hood. I've taken it off because I'm going to repaint the hood and put it back. But to where the person that ordered this truck ordered special things on it. So, and I do not know who ordered the truck originally, and I haven't looked it up. I don't know how good Dodge is with that. I've run the numbers. I know where the vehicle was built and all that, but unlike Ford Motor Company, Ford, you can go, there's a website you can go onto and you can find out who ordered the car, or the dealership it was sold through and all that. So there may be something like that for Chrysler too. I don't know. I'm looking for a front drive shaft for a 98 to a 01 Dodge half-ton. Well, there you go. If you got one of them, get a hold of Russell down there at the Outfits Garage. He needs one of those. And yeah, I need some door panels for my 77 Chevy C10, preferably blue ones, if anybody's got any of those. I know Mike up there at Rust, what is the guy with the wrecker? Well, I can't even think of his channel's name. Empire of Rust. He's got some door panels, he thinks. And I was going to try to stop by his place when we went through Kansas, but everything on our trip, it just took longer than I had planned. And so we weren't able to make that stop. So, well, I've been bloviating probably about long enough on here. Looks like we've been on here about an hour. So, because it's, what time is it here? Found my phone, by the way. 11:44. So yeah, some of you obviously are on different time zones. So anyway, yeah, you don't have any either. That's right. I don't know what the deal is with finding them and 77. I mean, several years will work. I've got a set of 74s out here, door panels, and they're nice and they'll work. But the problem is in the 77, they were longer and they actually had those little storage bags on the side. And I'd really like to have that because if I put the shorter panels in, like, because I replaced the doors on there and I didn't paint past where the, so the brown would still show. So I would have to repaint the doors to use those older ones. Yeah, Curtis, I will try to see you Saturday down in Hallsville, Kentucky at the car show. So that'll be cool. Yeah, 10:44. Okay. Yeah, later. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to get out of here. And again, thanks for coming by and watching this nonsense. And I'll finish making this video, and you guys will see it in a week or so. And you were a part of it. Yeah, So anyway, I will remind you to be sure and go to shop RCindustry and get you a T-shirt or a hoodie and stuff like that. And with that, I'm going to hit this button down here, and I think we're going to end the stream. So bye. Show you more.